Episode 110. With a thunderous boom, the cannon fired again. Tang Ru stared blankly at Windward Mist's position. She couldn't believe this shot was still for pulling aggro. This was DPS. This was pure damage output, right? What Tang Ru saw, however, was Windward Smoke's cannon had just swung back around, and only then two more goblins came bounding over. 18 of them now. Could that guy really handle them all? 10 goblins Tang Ru could just barely handle. 12, she felt she could give it a try. 14. That was when she started to feel truly astonished. But it was at this moment that Tang Ru truly began to realize the gap between her. And Ye Xiu wasn't just about game knowledge. And now 18. Tang Ru was at a loss for words. All she could do was watch as Lord Grimm charged forward once more, pulling the two newly spawned minions into the fray. In that instant, Tang Ru felt this was going to be a very long road indeed. What you don't know, you can learn. Experience can be accumulated. Awareness can be sharpened. But this hand speed, Tang Ru thought her APM had already peaked, only now realizing there was always someone faster. Just then, she heard another cannon blast. Tang Ru was numb to it now. Maybe next it would be 22, 24, 26. Is it really appropriate to be so shocked right now? Fang Su Yan Mu did not disappoint Tang Ru, maintaining the same relentless pace for pulling the next monster.
Does this person have no limit at all?
Tang Ru thought to herself. But this time, it wasn't Lord Grimm who charged out to intercept the monsters. It was Steamed Bun Invasion. Tang Ru was shocked. Could this kid also be unfathomably deep? Newbies were truly terrifying. Soon, Bun's invasion returned with 2 goblins in tow, handling them with practiced ease. Tang Ru felt she was now relegated to the role of a silent observer. But as he watched, he suddenly froze.
Baozi, why are you missing 2? Where are 2 missing? Didn't you just welcome 2 more? Right? With the 8 you had before, that should make 10. Why are there still only 8?
2 just died.
Ye Xiu overheard the conversation. He was just puzzled about which of the 2 was the real newbie. Just as the 2 goblins under Steamed Bun Invasion's control fell, and Ye Xiu was about to remind him to grab the next wave, Steamed Bun had already charged ahead on his own. Ye Xiu was just thinking how sharp Steamed Bun was today, only to find Tang Ru dazedly working on some math problem. Tang Ru was still out of it. Dead.
We've all got new weapons today. So our damage output is way higher than during our usual practice runs. We don't need to stop and kill monsters now. We can just charge straight through, fighting on the run.
An Su Mucheng sighed. Seeming to notice Tang Ru's confusion, she offered a brief explanation. Tang Ru suddenly understood. All her usual practice had just been building the intent.
Only now, with a level 25 weapon, can it truly be realized?
Keep it up, Su Mucheng said. Understood, Tang Ru replied. She let out a long, relieved sigh. So the so-called gap, it was just her being a clueless newbie, overthinking and confusing herself. Tang Ru asked Ye Xiu, how many monsters did you pull? 16. Tang Ru was in tears. It wasn't an illusion after all. This gap truly existed. Tang Ru's Cold Smoke Gentle controlled 10 goblins. Steamed Bun Invasion controlled 8. And Ye Xiu's Lord Grimm controlled 16 for a total of 34. The count had stabilized. Their coordinated cycle was now fully established. An Su Mucheng's side, pulling new monsters, never stopped. But from this moment on, the total of 34 goblins would no longer increase. Because for every 2 she pulled in, 2 would inevitably fall in the formation here. Gathering the mobs was coordinated, and the damage output was precisely targeted. Each player fulfilled a distinct role, unleashing their attacks. They were rhythmically seeking out their targets. Peak level execution, peak level coordination. For the Frost Forest dungeon, given their class composition, Ye Xiu and his team were already performing at the absolute limit. As long as they made no mistakes. Steady Eddie, the one he'd been most worried about, Brawler, was performing flawlessly. a wave of relief washed over Ye Xiu. After Tang Ru's inexplicable rookie moment, she didn't have any more slip-ups. As for Soma Cheng, there was even less to worry about. What gave Ye Xiu a pleasant surprise, however, was that Elementalist loves a crowd. The Elementalist's job was simply to blast the gathered goblins, trying to keep damage output balanced while avoiding OT. As long as he didn't play completely brainlessly, his performance shouldn't create a wipe-level disaster. But achieving perfect damage balance is only theoretically possible. He's a character who can afford some deviation. Compensating for his missteps is part of the strategy itself. But what Ye Xiu saw was this person correcting and compensating for the deviation on their own during the attack. While it could never achieve perfect equilibrium, it did significantly reduce the deviation. In terms of detail, this person had already pushed it to the limit. They hadn't done this in previous practice sessions because it simply wasn't necessary. After seeing this display of skill, Ye Xiu realized this person's level was actually a notch higher than he'd initially thought. Looks like he's a top-tier expert from a guild too. Having realized this, Ye Xiu quietly drew his conclusion, but the screen had already shifted its focus elsewhere. The screen before Ye Xiu changed at a dizzying speed. He simply had too much to manage, not only controlling 16 goblins, but also observing and guiding the other 4 players. Yet in comparing herself to Ye Xiu, Tang Ru had completely overlooked this fact. The gap between Ye Xiu and Tang Ru was actually far greater than she had estimated.
First boss dead ahead.
The rhythmic cannon fire from Windward Mist finally ceased. All the mobs along the path were cleared, leaving only the first boss blocking the way ahead. Soma Cheng knew full well how busy Ye Xiu was. She made a point of feeding him important intel, ensuring nothing slipped past his notice. Go! Ye Xiu's words had barely left his lips when Lord Grimm suddenly leapt into the air, a sharp sword now gripped in his right hand. A silver light drop blade cleaved through the air, its shockwave rippling out to knock every single minion flat. Cold Mist, Steamed Bun Invasion, and Love to join the fun no longer bothered with careful crowd control. They tossed aside concerns like aggro control, unleashing every skill in their arsenal in a spectacular, all-out barrage. These 34 goblins, herded all the way here and whittled down with every step, had already lost most of their vitality. Under this barrage of attacks, they fell like wheat before a scythe, collapsing in waves. Many goblins never got back up. Within a few exchanges, over half were wiped out. The remaining few, flailing wildly in pursuit, were even less of a threat. Against the combined skills of Ye Xiu's trio, the goblins could only die faster.